Hi, I'm Ben. I'm here to tell you why college baseball is overlooked and why it should be more mainstream. When you hear college sports, you obviously think of college football and the college football playoffs and college basketball and the March Madness tournament. When in reality, baseball has all the tools it needs to be just as popular as those sports. And college baseball is full of a lot of rich tradition, just like in football, and a lot of skill from these players. For example, I was just recently watching a game versus UNC, Chapel Hill, and Virginia Tech, and things got heated to the fact that there were verbal altercations and there was just a lot of back and forth from different teams, which can create a hostile environment, which is obviously fun to watch. I mean, you tell me you don't want to watch two teams go back and forth at each other. Yeah, it's crazy. And in 2023, ESPN's coverage of college baseball only averaged 264,000 viewers, which is 37% more than the prior year in 2022, which is still just a fraction of the numbers that college football and college basketball do. And that stat comes from sportsmediawatch.com. And with that being said, only 1,600 games were shown during the Super Regional last year and the regionals, which is like a playoff environment. So it should have been a little higher to me, is what I believe, because those are the games that are nationally televised and stuff like that. However, 1,600 games were shown, and that is just not a lot. And that's a lot of those games were just covered through local channels, and they weren't nationally televised, so you didn't get announcers or anything like that. You were just looking at different camera angles and stuff like that. You don't get to have the full experience of a college baseball game if you don't have the announcers, which they need to do better at that, and that's something they can improve on. And with that being said, the way to change that is through student engagement, community engagement, and different social media improvements. And one way to boost college baseball within the school is to have different giveaways, different events that get people to come out, especially students. Do like an event on campus where everybody walks and where everybody congregates. Like that's a big thing to get your name out there at a college, is to do something where the students can see you. And that's another thing that's just like very overlooked. There should be like different events like tailgates and stuff like that, which, yeah. There should also be different events that get families to come out, such as like giveaway nights, team signings, just stuff that gets the community engaged. Because I know our football team does a great job at that, but our baseball team, it tends to struggle with getting fans in the door. I was at a game recently. There were only a few fans, and it's like there should be more, because it's such an entertaining game to watch. We hit a lot of home runs here, so it's like this should be a cool, fun experience, but we just don't get that. And another way to do that is to give kids free admission and do different events for kids that get families involved, get the local families that really fund the program, because you can't have a program without any funding. And a lot of that money comes from donations from outside of schools, how we raise our money as a school for baseball. And this also is a great investment long term, because it allows for students to for kids to grow up, feel like they're a part of that culture and want to be that in that scene whenever they're older. And it's just like you're helping to guide the youth into your program. So another thing that is cool is I read this player's interview on what he thinks college baseball means to him, and what he said was, where's the quotes? Cedric Rose said, "Baseball is a lifestyle that that shapes your future. Baseball is a lifestyle that shapes your future." Yeah, that quote is from article WGBH.org, and that supports why players are the center of the program, and they need to be more appreciated. And they're often overlooked because they don't get much community engagement, they don't get much social media engagement. These are all things that can be supported and changed. College baseball has all the talent and energy and potential. It just needs more support. And the way to do that is getting more media coverage. And that's something that needs to be changed through the conference. It needs to start promoting it more. There needs to be a lot more done. because the SEC right now is leading in college baseball. However, there's no, like, really, you don't hear about any other college besides ACC that is playing baseball. You don't really hear about it. So there needs to be a lot more engagement from those other conferences to get their sport pushed. I mean, it's hard to watch whenever you don't get to see your favorite teams or teams that you're local to. You can't cheer on a team that lives in your state or anything like that. So, yeah. It's just, this sport has so many qualities that it needs just to become a popular sport. It's missing so much from community, from social media, and it's missing a lot from national coverage, because without that you don't get the full effect of a college baseball game, and it's hard to enjoy it when you don't actually get to see what's going on. And my other quotes were they were encompass.eku.edu, they were Nine Line Network, they were the sportsmedia.net, they were the Aspen Institute, and NIL Network. So, yeah, that's about everything. Thank you.